eNCA in possession of a forensic report that reveals irregular expenditure. And I hope you're sitting down for the amount, 400 million rand, irregular expenditure by the Johannesburg Roads Agency. Now, for years, the agency has been criticised for the state of the city's roads and infrastructure. Well, let's get some reaction now to the report, joined by former Johannesburg Mayor Mpho Moerane. Mpho, good morning to you. Thank you very much for your time. Good to have you on eNCA. Did you almost fall off your reclining chair when you saw this report?
Good morning, Gareth. Good morning to the viewers of eNCA. Gareth, the report, I'm not hearing it for the first time. It had come to our attention when I was MMC for infrastructure in Johannesburg. It was reported in one of the meetings that we had that the Joburg Roads Agency has an irregular expenditure of 400 million. And during that time, the MMC responsible for roads and transport, MMC Helen Makubo, did inform us that the CFO has been placed on suspension pending a forensic investigation on the amount that has been spent irregularly. So it is not, I'm not hearing it for the first time.
So what's your reaction now that this report is very much more in the public eye as well? What do you tell residents of Johannesburg when we know the state of our roads, we know the condition they're in, traffic lights aren't working, street lights aren't working, you know the issues, you were the mayor, of course, and now there's this report of 400 million rand, almost R500 million missing. What do you tell residents of Johannesburg and Gauteng this morning?
Well, I have not seen the forensic report, but I can tell you that if the recommendations say the city must take corrective measures by ensuring that we recover the money from the individuals that they have spent the money irregularly, it must be done so. I'm still the councillor, leader of the ANC caucus. We are going to make sure that there is action taken on individuals that have spent money irregularly. The state of the roads in Johannesburg, especially during the rainy season, it's bad. Potholes are so many, traffic lights are not working. And I can tell you that it happened in our term, it is happening. The city must take a corrective action to make sure that we bring our roads and our infrastructure into a better and
to the standards that I think many taxpayers, Mr. Moerane, would expect our roads to be, considering how much South Africans are being taxed. When you say action's going to be taken, give me a name. Who's getting fired?
Well, as I said, I have not seen the report, so I will make sure that as a councillor in the city of Johannesburg, we will have access to the report and we'll make sure that corrective action is taken.
But you do agree with me that somebody should get fired for this, Mr. Moerane? Do you agree with me that somebody should get fired for this?
Not only fired, money must be paid back, Gareth. It's wrong that we spend taxpayers' money, 400 million unauthorized. It's totally wrong, unacceptable, and action must be taken.
So how are we going to fix the roads now that we had this irregular expenditure of 400 million rand? How are we going to fix our roads this year?
Well, we have passed a midterm budget. The road agency does have money to fix our roads. We also have a partnership with the public sector to help us in fixing the roads. We had launched it last year. It is working, and I'm sure they will get to the bottom of the matter and make sure that all our potholes are fixed and our street lights are fixed as well.
I was about to ask you about the potholes as well. There's questions being asked, Mr. Moerane. Maybe you can just speak to me on this. It's slightly off the topic of the scandal at the moment. It's the quality of repairs in Joburg. I'm talking about Joburg, the roads itself, whether it's JRA, I'm seeing private organizations filling potholes. Here we're looking at visuals of roads being repaired. The quality of the workmanship is being brought into question. There were potholes fixed on major roads last week. It had a couple of days of rain in Joburg and they're open and breaking up again. Well, what do you do with something like that? How detailed do you get when you look at these issues?
Well, Gareth, first of all, let me point out that it's not only about the quality of the work. Our road infrastructure is aged, it's very old. We need resurfacing of all our roads, but due to limited capital expenditure that is required, I think the city is unable to resurface all the roads. That's number one. We have to resurface all our roads. Number two, yes, the quality is not that good. Sometimes potholes are being fixed. You come the following day, it's coming back again. But I can assure you the joint venture that the city has with the private sector, the methodology on patching the roads, it's commendable and it's sustainable and lasts long. But coming back to the issue, our roads are very old and they need to be resurfaced. It's like the infrastructure in the city of Johannesburg. You need almost to spend almost 100 billion in the next 10 years to fix the infrastructure. Our bridges, they require almost 20 billion to fix them. So it is important that the city goes out, raise capital, and fix our infrastructure.
I'm just going to leave this as a last question to you, Mr. Moerane, just as briefly as you could. How are you going to reassure all of us that the budget you're talking about, 20 billion rand for bridges and 30 billion rand, I think when it comes to provincial budgets, we just throw around billions like they're Smarties. How are you going to ensure and guarantee and promise to Joburg residents that more money isn't going to go missing through irregular expenditure? Between now and the conclusion of your investigation, what are you going to do today about it? Very quickly.
Well, fortunately, I sit in the Mpho committee or Section 79 committee. We look at the expenditure. We will make sure that the committee recommends to council that action is taken. We recommend to council that we need to raise more money to fix our infrastructure. We want to assure our residents, in particular on the wards that the African National Congress has won, that there is service delivery. And I had spoken to the mayor, Dr. Mpho Moerane, that he will consult with all the parties before the budget is presented in June. We will make sure that money that has been budgeted for is well spent and ensure that there is service delivery in the city of Johannesburg.
And of course, as you know, we're going to hold you to that promise as well, Mr. Mpho Moerane. No doubt you and I will speak again about this, but I do appreciate your time in coming on to speak to us. Tumza, getting reaction from former Joburg Mayor Mpho Moerane.